Now, the fact is that there is nothing to listen to on the radio. I can stomach some of the AM talk radio for a little bit, but to be quite honest, it has a ridiculous slant to right-wing radio. I guess that's what sells advertising. Right now, there's home improvement repair guys, a couple of 60-year-old guys that sit there and giggle and talk about window trim. People call in and ask about the pilot on their water heater. Go over to the FM stations. They're actually, there's no rock station at all, right? We have a new rock alternative. Well, you're playing no-name alternative bands. They're all slow, melodic. They're all Cage the Elephant, and it's not listenable. It's not what you want for a drive. Like, I remember when there was a real rock station and you heard hard, heavy rock songs. Plenty of hip-hop stations. Country stations. I got 4 of those. So I don't get it. I don't understand why there's nothing on the radio for my drive. And invariably it leads to me daydreaming, or talking to myself, or hooking the playlist of MP3s into the stereo and skimming through the same 200 songs. And it's funny how often I find myself just skip, and the first note of the next song, oh, I don't want to hear that, skip. So you finally find something you want to listen to. It's a strange thing. The thing that really just makes me absolutely nuts about them is they insist on branding themselves as this new rock alternative. And, I called the DJ once, just to kind of mess with them and say, what gives? What is this? How is this rock? So this is not new rock. And then this was a couple of years ago, and there were bands coming out like Avenged Sevenfold and Bullet for My Valentine, and metal acts like that, Five Finger Death Punch. And he says, well, no, it's like new, like NU, right? Alternative is the new rock. And I'm like, no, it's really not. They'll play a commercial and it'll be like, new rock first, and you'll hear like, Cranberries' Zombie. Okay, that's like 30 years old. Or then they'll play a new, Cage the Elephant song and call that new, and then they'll, but wait, we'll play Muse, and to them, like, rock is Muse. There's nothing wrong with Muse. It's a good band. I've got a couple of their songs on my playlist, but it's not rock. Looking for rock. I'm not getting it, you can take the word new out of it altogether if you're going to play Candlebox. They still play Candlebox. I can't even work with that. That's ridiculous. Everything just seems like it's a techno pop, right? Everything's got synthesizers. If I drive a little bit further east, I can pick up what once, very recently actually, was a rock station, a K-Rock station, which I guess, if I understand, is a franchise. Of, maybe I'm wrong about that, tell me, but because I've heard that name a million times from different places, K-Rock. And they would play, the oldest stuff for a while that they would play would be like Rage Against the Machine. But you would hear, new stuff from Trivium, from Five Finger Death Punch. You'd hear Avenged Sevenfold. I'm saying the same band names over and over again, but you get my drift. Well, recently, I don't get it. Now they're playing, like, they'll throw in an old Black Sabbath song. Okay, look, I'm 40 years old. I listened to Black Sabbath when I was like 15. Part of your education growing up in the 80s and 90s was to understand bands like Judas Priest and Black Sabbath and softer side of Van Halen and Aerosmith. I get it. That doesn't mean I want to hear this stuff 40 years later. It doesn't interest me, and it really throws off the flow if you're suddenly playing Jethro Tull followed by brand new Kill Switch Engage. It doesn't make sense. It's no better than the alternative station over there, playing a brand new Chili Peppers song that sounds like every other Chili Peppers song from the last 25 years. It's like satellite radio. You've got the Octane station, and there's a lot of new rock on this Octane station. And once in a great while, one of those bands would make the leap over to FM radio, and they play it on K-Rock. And the tough part is, you live in New York, they're very strict on cell phones. You cannot have your cell phone in your hand. It doesn't matter if you are texting someone or not. Clearly you don't put the phone up on your ear. You're done if that happens. Just having it in your hand and looking down at it at all, you're done. That's a $150 ticket and 3 points on your license. And you do that enough times and you lose your license. So I've never even been down that road. So it's kind of difficult if you want to use your phone as an MP3 player. And hopefully you've got that either Bluetoothed into your dashboard or, even just a stereo jack or something, and hope that you can listen. But by golly, don't let a state trooper or a sheriff see you with your hand on the phone touching the button to skip the next song because you've heard the next song 50 times this week because there's nothing on the damn radio. They have the MP3 player. It's just, I listen to the radio because it's free. I don't want to buy CDs. I've got CDs. I'm a huge fan of the band called Volbeat. I've got all their discs right there in the glove compartment. I've heard them all 50 times. I love the music. It doesn't mean I want to listen to it over and 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 over. Kind of stuck. And actually, the thing that gets me with the cell phone piece, and this makes me kind of nuts, is for some reason around here, maybe this is the way it is where you are, but if you see a cop while you're driving, take a look at him. Look at what's going on in the driver's seat of that vehicle, and I'll bet you, 5 out of 10 times that cop and that police officer has their cell phone up to the side of their head like this, and they're talking away. It makes me absolutely nuts. Why are you allowed to have your phone on your ear? Are you some kind of superhuman that doesn't get distracted? That everybody else in the world who has learned to multitask because it's 2016, you're the only one that is allowed for some reason to be talking to your buddy about where you guys are going to meet for lunch. Now, I recently talked to a cop about this, a sheriff's lieutenant, and he danced and jigged and avoided and didn't really want to answer the question. Well, he's probably talking to his dispatcher. No, that would be on the radio. Well, sometimes we do use the cell phones for interdepartmental. I said, it's hypocrisy, honestly. I appreciate that you're out there trying to keep people safe, but frankly, when you see a cop rolling down the road, violating the law, probably speeding, by the way, the cops drive faster than anybody else. It's okay for them to go 80 miles an hour through traffic without their lights on, with their cell phone flying away, that's okay. But me or anybody else, no. Whirling lights, pull it over, license registration. And, I don't honestly believe that the cops are out here on the road for safety. I don't. I don't see crimes being committed on the road. Yeah, you got to find a drunk driver every once in a while, and but by golly, what you're doing is you're looking for people who are not wearing their seatbelt, legit, or people that are trying to look up the GPS on their phone so they can figure out where their kid's soccer game is. But nope, that's a ticket, $150, 3 points on your license. You know why I pulled you over today, sir? Well, because you got a quota. Because your captain told you in roll call this morning that you haven't written enough tickets this month and you're not going to make a goal. Kind of funny, as I'm talking about it, one just pulled alongside me, a New York State Trooper, and got in front of me. So it's funny how all of a sudden everybody around you starts driving like a perfect angel. Everybody slows down. Nobody's going 55. Although I have a motorcycle on my ass right now, so I'm going to move over. Let him go sidle up next to the state trooper up there. Here he goes. You hear him? That's good. Good luck, buddy. I don't know. I mean, what else can you really do? You know, if you got a long commute like mine, you got to fill the time somehow. You would think that music would be useful. You know, I'm not that old that I want to listen to that much talk radio every day, day in and day out. The same thing. Push a political agenda, insult liberals, hang up on callers. News is bumpered by commercials. It's like, you know, we take a quick break from our commercials to bring in the news. And then we go back to more commercials. I don't want to hear that. I mean, really, what else are you supposed to do? So what are the choices? Your choices are the crappy-ass AM/FM radio, the MP3 player or the phone, which gets you in trouble, CDs. You know, I saw a picture online the other day of like a nostalgia, you know, you're from the 90s if you remember this, and it's a picture of a guy in the front seat of his car with a huge album of CDs. There's like 9 CDs per page, and it's like 4 inches thick. Probably don't have a multi-disc player in your 2008 Kia Rio. You know, then what? Then you pay for satellite? You know, fine. I listen to all of 2 satellite channels in my wife's van, but I don't really like paying for it if all I'm listening to is 2 channels, and they want $70 a year unless you threaten to cancel, and then they give you another 6 months for $25 or something. It's a never-ending cycle. So what do? You know, what do you do? How do you entertain yourself in the car? You can't sit there and text. You're going to get in trouble. The music's mind-numbingly boring. And do you sit there and talk to yourself? I don't know. You know, I have conversations with myself in my head. I daydream. But what do? You know, tell me. Post in the comments. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the road.